the Pupco Studios in Oklahoma City. I'm Jenni Carlson, and I'm here with Gene Deckerhoff. He's the longtime radio voice of the Florida State football team. Gene, how are you?
Doing really good. You know, it's a great time of the year. It's college football and some big ball games coming up this weekend, Jenny. I can't remember a week, at least in recent memory, that we've had the number of really huge football games that are on the schedule.
No doubt about it. And obviously, for people in your area and people in our area, this Oklahoma-Florida State game are kindling a great rivalry. Some people here learned some stuff about Oklahoma last Saturday. I'm not sure they wanted to know, but after Florida State's impressive win, at least on the scoreboard against Samford, what did you all learn about the Seminoles?
Well, you know, what I learned about the Seminoles, they got a lot of young talent that need experience, but some young talent that played with a lot of enthusiasm and made big plays. In fact, it was a game of big plays in the game on Saturday against a very outmanned Samford team. You really can't judge a whole lot about first games when you're playing a Division I AA school. All I know is that the best thing, no injuries in the game. Secondly, a lot of young guys got some game experience, and they're going to need to have experience under the belt to play in a rugged ACC conference this year and have a chance to win an ACC title. We haven't won one since 2003, and it's about time Florida State stepped up and won an ACC championship. And so, hey, this is a great game for these young players to go out and play in a hostile environment, very loud, against a team that some folks think can win a national championship this year. So, and also throw out that Oklahoma game against Utah State. You know, the old saying in coaching is these first games of the season, teams have an entire year almost to prepare for that first game and try to shock the world. Utah State was working on their game plan back in the spring. They worked on their game plan during preseason two-a-day practices, and they executed probably a little better than Oklahoma thought they would. Coach Stoops has their attention this week, believe you me, and I think you'll see a different Oklahoma team, and I'm hoping you'll see a Florida State team that can continue to come up with big plays because it's going to be a big play offense and a big play defense.
Well, and Jimbo Fisher obviously getting a lot of the preseason attention because he's taken over as the coach for Bobby Bowden. Obviously, you've been around 30-plus years. You were there for a lot of the years with Coach Bowden. What have been the most significant changes you've seen with Jimbo? He was obviously in the program before, but how has he changed things there at Florida State?
Well, number one, he brought in a younger staff that we've had at Florida State probably in the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. Obviously, when your head coach is 80 years old, you got an older staff, and I'm not slighting Bobby. I love Bobby to death. The staff is number one. The way this staff coaches up these kids is number two. And also recruiting. Sometimes you get sort of set in your ways. You know, kids are going to come play at your school, and that's not the case with Urban Meyer at Florida, Randy Shannon down in Miami, recruiting the same state and mining this great state of Florida for college football talent. Jimbo Fisher and his staff have gone out and gotten, in fact, commitments going into next year. Now, if everybody signs on the dotted line in February, could be the number one recruiting class in the country. So it's an upgrade in recruiting. And another thing is this staff's not playing favorites. If you're a freshman and you can play, you're going to be in the lineup. And there were a couple of new faces in that defensive lineup particularly that really stood out in the game against Samford. And these are young guys.